Agriculture dairy cattle. Dairy cattle. These are cattle reared specifically for milk production. Examples of exotic dairy breeds: Friesian Ayrshire, Jersey, Guernsey. And carry characteristics of a good dairy breed. It should be a high milk yielder. B should be resistant to pests and diseases. C should have a high fertility. D should be docile, hence easy to be milked. E should have a large udder. F should be able to calve easily. 31. G should have a big milk vein. H should be able to calve regularly for a long time. I should have a well-suspended udder with 4 functional teats. J should have a long lactation which ensures continuous milk production. K should have strong hind legs for supporting a big udder. Factors to consider before establishing a dairy herd. 1. Capital. This is needed in the construction of farm structures, purchase of land, and the animals. 2. Land. There should be enough land to accommodate farm buildings and paddocks where animals can graze from. 3. Labor, and both skilled and unskilled labor is required for performing specialized work and manual labor respectively. 4. Reliable source of water. Water is needed by the animals for drinking and also in other farm operations like cleaning and mixing of drugs. 5. There should be a ready market for milk and milk products which is easily accessible to reduce the costs incurred in looking for market. 6. Pastures. The place in consideration should have good pastures since the production of the animals is greatly affected by the quality of what they eat. 7. There must be reliable transport so that the farmer can easily move farm products to the market and bring back inputs. 8. The breed selected should fit the market demand and the climatical conditions of the place in consideration. 9. Security is a very important factor for any business since insecurity. Agriculture dairy cattle. 10. Government policy in place should be encouraging dairy farming through the provision of good breeds of cattle. 11. Climate in the area should be good for dairy farming. Importance of dairy farming. It provides income to the farmer all year round since animals produce it any given period of the year. B. They can provide dung used for making farm yard manure. 32. C. Can provide quality meat at the end of milk cycle after fattening. D. Provide food to the farmer in form of milk. E. Provide market for industrial products like meat. F. They are good converters of inedible pastures into milk. Strength of the dairy industry in Uganda. A high demand for dairy products in Uganda. B. Integrated farming practices can accommodate dairying. C. Suitable climate in most areas of Uganda that favors animal production. D. Availability of quality fresh pastures throughout the year. E. Improved infrastructure that make transportation of milk to the market easy. F. Increased research and development in dairy farming. G. Improved extension services in dairy farming. H. Historical factors like a long history of cattle keeping among tribes in Uganda. Introducing exotic dairy cattle in an area. A fence off the whole grazing area to keep out intruders and pests. B. Partition the grazing land into paddocks for easy pasture management. C. Remove all weeds and injurious objects from the grazing land. D. Install water points in all paddocks for the animals. E. Introduce bait animals to the paddock to control ticks 3 minutes 6 months before bringing in exotic animals. S. Spay or dip the bait animals regularly over the whole period. D. Remove the bait animals after a specified period and introduce the exotic animals. H. Regularly spray or dip the exotic animals to control external parasites. Management of dairy cattle. 1. Regularity of care. The operations done on these animals should be performed regularly without abrupt interruptions, as those may affect the production of animals. Agriculture dairy cattle. 2. Kindness to animals. Rough handling of animals like beating reduces the productivity and can even cause injuries that may be expensive to treat. 4. Exercise. Animals need light exercise for good health, but long distances of movement should be avoided as these require a lot of energy, lowering animal production. 4. Grooming. Keeping hindquarters of animals off dung, loose hair, and any dirt by brushing and dipping leads to production of high-quality milk. 5. Hoof trimming. Overgrown hoofs should be trimmed to avoid difficulty in movement and lameness. 6. Dehorning. Apart from introducing uniformity in the herd, handling of dehorned animals is easy and less risky. 33. 7. Identification. For record purposes, dairy animals should be identified by your tagging, notching, branding, and tattooing. 8. Provision of adequate water. Animals need enough water since the biggest percentage of their body is water. Excessive loss of water from the body reduces milk produced. 9. Breeding. A farmer should aim at breeding of his herd to increase animal number and productivity by incorporating good breeds in the breeding program. 10. Proper feeding. Dairy animals should be given enough and highly nutritious feeds to improve and maintain a high level of production. Milk and milk products. Structure of the udder. Milk secretion. 1. Milk is secreted by the secretory cells called alveoli secretory cells in the udder under the influence of prolactin hormone for the anterior pituitary gland. 2. Milk is made from the nutrients eaten by the animal like blood sugar, amino acids and fatty acids. Agriculture, dairy, cattle. Process of milk let down. 1. When the udder is stimulated by washing with warm water or suckling by the calf, a message is sent to the anterior part of the brain through the spinal cord. 2. A hormone called oxytocin is released in the bloodstream from the anterior pituitary gland. 3. When the hormone reaches the udders, it causes contraction of muscles surrounding the alveoli. 4. The squeezing action forces the milk into the gland and teat cisterns. 5. The action of suckling/milking will bring the milk outside. Ways of stimulating milk let down. 1. Taking the cow to the milking parlour. 2. Massaging the udder or washing it with warm water. 3. Noise or rattling of milk buckets. 4. Feeding of the unconcentrates cow in the milking parlour. 5. Approach of milking time. 6. Presence of the calf at the milking place. Rules of good milking. 1. Avoid exciting the animal before and during milking. 2. Prepare and assemble the milking equipment beforehand. 3. Milking time should never be interrupted. 4. Milk at the same time every day. 5. Prepare the cow for milk letdown by washing the udder with warm water. 6. Use a strip cup to test for mastitis. 7. Begin milking soon after preparing the cow to utilize short period of milk letdown milk hold up. This is the opposite of milk letdown where the cow holds up milk due to the production of adrenaline. Adrenaline limits blood supply to the udder, therefore preventing oxytocin from reaching the muscles surrounding the alveoli. Adrenaline is produced when 1. Presence of strangers around the milking parlour like dogs and cats. 2. Rough handling of the animal by beating. 3. Too much noise at the milking parlour. 4. Improper dressing and change of the milking person. 5. Pain during the milking process caused by mastitis or injury to the teats. 35. Milking procedure. 1. Assemble all milking equipments like buckets, cans, and milking strainer in the parlour to avoid time wastage. Agriculture, dairy, cattle. 2. The cow to be milked should be restrained while in the parlour by tying the hind legs with a milking rope. 4. Wash the udder with warm water and soap and dried using a hand towel. 5. Milking salve should be smeared on the teats to reduce friction and injury. The teats. 6. The strip cup should be used to test milk from each teat for mastitis. 7. Cows suspected of mastitis should be milked last and the milk poured away. 8. Follow the right milking technique of applying pressure to the outside of the teat while holding it between the index finger and thumb. 9. Weigh and record milk from each cow immediately after milking. 10. Milk should be filtered using a milking strainer before being put in beacon for cooling to remove all dirt and any foreign material like hair. 11. All the milking equipment should be washed after milking and hanged upside down in the sun to dry. Note, the milking should be done in 7 minutes to utilize the time for milk let down. Procedures of clean milk production. In order to produce clean milk, the following points are important. 1. Clean, healthy cows must be maintained free of brucellosis and tuberculosis. 2. Regular grooming and washing of animal is important for removal of dirt and loose hair that can contaminate milk. 3. All the equipments used during milking must be kept sterile by washing and drying. 4. The milking parlour should be kept spotlessly clean to reduce contamination of milk by microbes. 5. Personnel handling milk should be cleaned by having clean clothes, short hair and fingernails. 6. Milk should always be covered when in containers to stop foreign material from entering it. 7. The person milking should not be suffering from any contagious disease, e.g. tuberculosis. 8. Cows suffering from mastitis should be milked last and the milk poured away to reduce the spread of the disease. 9. Regular tests for tuberculosis in the herd should be carried out regularly. Agriculture, dairy, cattle. 11. The milking parlour should be far away from poultry houses, piggeries, manure pits and latrines which may pollute the air and provide a breeding ground for flies. 12. The milking parlour should be built on a high ground to permit good drainage. 13. Wild plants which have an odour that contain milk should be removed from the milking place. 14. Milk should be cooled from the normal temperature of 30 Savino C to 40 C to reduce bacteria multiplication. 15. Proper milking techniques should be followed to reduce injury to teat and contamination of the milk. Factor affecting the quality composition and quality yield. Milk. 1. Breed. Frisians produce large amounts of milk but of low butter fat, while the indigenous produce less milk of high butter fat. 2. Age. Older cows produce more milk than the young. However, the butter fat of the milk produced by the older cows is lower than that of the young cows. 3. Period of lactation. Milk yield increases until the 7th week, then it starts declining up to drying off. 4. Animal health. Sick animals give less milk, which may also contain antibodies and drugs more, especially after treatment. 5. Animal temperament. Quiet animals are the best milkers, while nervous cows which kick about give less milk. 6. Water supply. Water is needed for the health of the cow and also in the manufacture of milk, since it is 87% water. Provision of enough water increases milk yield. 7. Food eaten. Animals fed on concentrates will produce more milk, which is of better quality than those fed on the ration full of roughages. 8. Season of the year. During the rainy season, cows produce milk with high butter fat content. The quantity of milk is also high due to the abundant pastures and water. 9. Tea period 37. Agriculture, dairy, cattle. High temperatures reduce milk yield due to the increased evaporation of water from the animal's body. 11. Management. Proper feeding of animal and better handling during milking will increase the quality and quantity of milk produced. Rough handling leads to the increase of adrenaline and hence milk hold up. 12. Milking interval. The greater the number of milking times, the higher the amount of milk produced. However, morning milking produces milk with higher butterfat content. Methods of milking. The two main methods of milking. 1. Hand milking. 2. Machine milking. Hand milking. Advantages. 1. Spread of mastitis is limited as compared to machine milking, where mastitis is easily spread through the teat cups. 2. Hand milking has a low initial capital, and therefore peasants can afford it. 3. It cannot be limited by power, therefore more applicable to rural areas with no power. 4. Injury to teats is not common as witnessed in machine milking due to faulty machines. Disadvantages. 1. It is very slow in operation and therefore cannot cope with large herds. 2. Efficiency declines with increase in the time worked. 3. It is difficult to produce as clean milk under this method. 4. It is difficult to have complete milking, hence a farmer stands to lose. 5. It increases labor costs as more people are employed. Machine milking. Advantages of machine milking. 1. It produces clean milk more easily than hand milking. 2. Complete milking is easily achieved. 3. There is reduction of labor costs since one person can handle more than 1,000 cows in a short time. 4. It is faster in its operation, hence saving time for animals to graze. 5. Can easily cope up with a large piece of work without getting tired. Disadvantages. 30. 1. Needs skilled labor to operate the machine, which may be difficult to attain. Agriculture, dairy, cattle. 2. It's limited by power supply and cannot work in places with no power. 3. Faulty machines can cause injury to teats. 4. Diseases like mastitis are easily spread since the animals share the same teat cups. 5. The initial cost of buying and installing the machine is high for most of the farmers in Uganda. 6. It is only economical on farms with very large numbers of lactating animals. Diseases associated with lactating cows. 1. Mastitis. This is an inflammation of the udder caused by a number of bacteria, and the most common are Streptococci and Staphylococci types of mastitis. Acute mastitis. This is sudden in occurrence, marked with changes in the udder. B. Chronic mastitis. This is slow in onset without obvious signs. Spread of mastitis can be spread through the milker's hands, teat cups of milking machines, udder towels. Signs of mastitis. 1. Blood stains in milk. 2. Flakes and clots in milk. 3. Discolored milk. Treatment of mastitis. Use intramammaries, which are antibiotics injected into the affected teats. Control of mastitis. The milker must ensure that his hands are clean before milking. A strip-up should be regularly used to test for mastitis. Before milking, the udder should be washed with warm water and dried using a towel. The farmer should pay more attention to sores on teats and prevent the plucking by using a milking sow. Teat cups should be rinsed and disinfected immediately after milking. Each cow animal suffering from mastitis should be treated promptly to stop the spread of the disease. Infected animals should be milked last and the milk poured away. Agriculture dairy cattle. Factors predisposing lactating animals to mastitis. Stage of lactation. It is more common at the beginning of lactation 39. Age of cattle. Older animals are more prone to mastitis due to aging. Immune system. Level of milk yield. High milk yielders are more prone to mastitis than the low yielders. Injury to teat and udder. This makes animal more prone to mastitis. Unhygienic practices. Milking infected animals with healthy ones increases the chance of mastitis spread. 2. Milk fever parchment pacy/hypocalcemia. Affects cattle, sheep and occasionally goats. Causes. Low blood calcium and phosphorus level with an increase in magnesium concentration. The normal ratio of calcium-phosphorus should not be above or below 2:1. Too much calcium in the ration. Symptoms. It occurs in high milk producing cows soon after calving. Loss of appetite. Constipation and general depression. Muscular spasms, convulsions, uncoordinated movement and inability to stand. Nervousness is experienced by the animal. Paralysis and turning of the head back. Prevention. Feed the cow on a ration containing 0.5–0.7% calcium and 0.3–0.4% phosphorus. Calcium shock treatment. Feed the pregnant animal 10–14 days before calving on a calcium-deficient ration to activate the animal's calcium mobilizing mechanism. The pregnant animal should be fed on a ration with high vitamin D 6 days before calving. Treatment. The animal should be injected with calcium salts in form of calcium chloride, calcium lactate, and calcium gluconate. Drying a cow. The dry period is when a cow is left without giving milk immediately after lactation period. The dry period should be for at least 60 days. Reasons for observing the dry period. Agriculture dairy cattle. Allow the cow to restore other tissues before getting back to lactation. Allow the cow to replace the minerals depleted during lactation. To give the fetus enough time to develop and also enough nutrients for it. To maintain a high future milk yield in the next lactation. Enable the cow to gain weight before delivering. To ensure high quality colostrum at birth. Methods of drying a cow. Incomplete milking. This involves milking the cow halfway its production capacity so that the remaining milk in the udder exerts pressure on the milk secreting cells, which will stop secreting milk.